If you're like me and you're a big nature lover, you might find yourself struggling living a city life. Big gray buildings and skyscrapers, constant noise, cars everywhere, too many people, polluted air. Everything just makes you wanna escape. This video is gonna be personal, but I wanted to make it for all the people who maybe feel a little bit lost living in the city and who maybe feel like nobody understands them. Because I was that one, and I always felt kinda lost in the city. So I'm gonna share my experience of living both of these lifestyles, so island life and the city life. And I'm gonna share actually some tips that helped me to feel a little bit better living in the city. Oh, and when I say I live on the island, here on the island I also live in the city, but the city I live in on the island is actually so small compared to the capital of Croatia. Our little city is more like a village actually. It has population of 6 to 7,000 people, and it's basically in nature, so it's surrounded by nature. Nature is everywhere. So yeah. To begin, I want to share a little background story. So, as many of you know, I come from an island in the Adriatic Sea, and I've been living here since the day I was born. I went here to kindergarten, primary school, high school, and when I finished high school, I had to go to college. So I moved to the capital of Croatia, Zagreb, and now I go to college there. Young people usually like to move to the big city because here on the island there is not really much to do, especially in the winter when there is no tourism, and our island is like a ghost island and our city is like a ghost city. So yeah, young people find the city life more exciting and interesting, but for me that wasn't the case because here on the island I always had everything I needed. I had nature and I was happy in nature, so I really didn't want to move to the city. But I had to, so I moved. And when I first got there, my brain was so confused. Because here on the island, everything is calm and peaceful, there's the sea, the trees, the birds. But in the city, it was hectic, everything was in rush, cars and people everywhere, constant noise, traffic lights, and my brain was bombarded with all these informations and I just couldn't stand it. I was a lost kid in that city, literally. One time I was trying to cross the street for like 10 minutes, because here on the island, streets are not really crowded and you can cross them like whenever you want. But in the city, I was waiting for the cars to stop for 10 minutes because I couldn't see the place where I can cross the street. And after 10 minutes, I realized that I was standing 2 meters away from an underground tunnel. I felt so stupid. I didn't know that thing exists. But yeah, basically, I felt lost. I felt like something was missing, like I was in a cage and a part of me was dead. I felt like, a seed that was planted in concrete. I missed something. I missed dirt, soil, earth. And not being able to jump in the sea or walk barefoot on the grass or watch the stars just made me feel mentally exhausted, mentally ill. I wasn't doing good. I was crying every day and I couldn't stand it anymore. I just wanted to go back on the island. And just to clear it out, I'm by no means trying to complain. I always had and I still have everything I need to live a good and happy life, and I'm beyond grateful for that. I'm just sharing my experience and my story. Now we can move on. Okay, so then it was time to put all I've read in spiritual books into practice because life is the greatest teacher. But at the beginning, I was just failing so hard. I was failing every single day. I was so unconscious and I was living in the past. I wasn't living in the present moment. And I actually knew what I had to do, I knew that I have to accept the situation, because when you find yourself in a situation or a location you don't like, there are only three things you can do. You can leave the situation, change it, or accept it. And accepting doesn't mean that you have to be happy about it, and excited about it. It just means that deep down you are at peace and you're not making the bigger problem of the situation than it actually is. So I couldn't change it, I couldn't live it, because I had to go to college, so I had to accept it, but it was easier said than done. And one of the reasons I couldn't accept it was my label. You see, ego really likes labels, and throughout human life we attach a lot of labels to ourselves. For example, your label can be your name or your career or family status, like you're a mom or dad or daughter. But all those labels aren't you, they're not your true self. So my label was actually my location, and I still have that label, honestly, and it's a label on which says that I'm a girl from the island, I live on the island, I can't live in the city, and it will always be like that. So I'm still struggling to let it go, but I'm working on it, and it's better. And now, 3 years after, I'm glad to say that I'm handling my life situation much, much better. I'm not crying anymore every single day and suffering. But it's still not quite right. I would say that now it is more on subconscious level. Before it was more like, my overthinking, and I was always thinking, I can't live here, it's awful, city sucks. But now I don't think anymore like that. But what happens is, when I'm a longer time in the city, for 2 months, I start feeling kind of bad, and I am asking myself, why am I feeling so bad? And then I realized that I actually don't go out. I don't go out of the house. I just sit 24 hours in the house, and that makes me feel really bad mentally. Here on the island that doesn't happen, because here on the island I'm a really active person. I go out every single day. I am out. I go, walk or run, maybe swim or cycle or train. But in the city, nothing is actually pulling me out of the house. Nothing is calling me, because here when I look through the window, I see the sea and the trees, and I have to go, it's calling me to go. But in the city, I just see the gray buildings, and it's kind of like, I'd rather stay here with my plants. So yeah, that's kind of the problem. But that actually brings me to my tips that help me to survive or feel better in the city. And the first one is move your body, go out. You have no idea how much moving your body can improve your mental health. At the beginning, I was good at it, but now, as I said, I really suck at it, honestly. At the beginning, I was actually cycling every single day, because I was going to college with my bike. I never used public transport. I was cycling when it was raining, when it was snowing, when it was windy, always, every day. And that was 18 kilometers here and there. So I enjoyed it. I loved it. And then I was doing Muay Thai and a little bit of bouldering and acro yoga and yoga. But then pandemic happened, and suddenly I didn't have to go anywhere. So I just stopped doing anything physically, and that is really, really bad. I'm struggling to even go for a walk or get out of the house now. but when I do, I feel so much better. Or when I do some kind of exercise in the house, I feel so much better, because training actually puts your mind into a flow state and you forget all your problems, everything about your life. You're just in the moment. So that really helps your mental health. It's like a meditation, actually. So believe me, you will feel much better. So move your body, go out of the house. So the next tip is talking to someone. This can be a friend, a family member. For me, it was my boyfriend, but it's basically someone you can talk to, you trust, and someone who will genuinely and patiently listen to you without judging you, and someone who will be your support. Talking to my boyfriend actually helped me to put all of my thoughts and emotions out of my mind and body, and that's really helped me to actually see what's going on in my head and to recognize my emotions, and I wasn't anymore carrying them with me, and that really helped me to move on, and it made me feel much more better. If you have no one to talk to, you can actually journal. It works on the same principle. You're just putting your feelings, emotions, and thoughts into a piece of paper, and you're not carrying them with you anymore, and you can clearly see what's going on in your head when you write it down. I actually made a video about it, how I journal and how it's helping me, so I will put a link up here or down in the description. But yeah, basically put your thoughts out, talk to someone, or journal. So the third thing that helped me to feel better in the city are actually plants. And so there was no nature, so I had to bring nature into my apartment. And seeing something green and alive every day made me feel like I was in nature again. And caring for my plants, watching them grow and change from season to season, gave my mind something to focus on, to observe, and just for a moment I was able to forget that I'm actually in the city. So I encourage you to bring a little bit of green life into your apartment. Believe me, you will feel so much better. Fourth tip is focus on the good things. You see, city life is actually not so bad at all. I'm actually really happy for the experience it gave me, and I'm really grateful for it. I've learned so much about myself. It made me stronger, and it gave me a new perspective on life. And the most important thing, it opened my mind. And that's something that probably wouldn't happen on the island. You see, when I changed my surroundings, my mind opened, and I was like an open book. I was just waiting for new things and new information to come in. And I was suddenly starting questioning all I knew from my life until now, until the moment I moved. That's because on the island we live in a really small community, and everyone knows everyone, and everyone knows what other people are doing. And I feel like in small communities, everything is still kind of based on old and pre-established opinions, and people are just accepting it without questioning, and people are doing the same things from years and years. I feel like here on the island, when you're born, it's kind of like they give you a box and they say, in this box is everything we know, what we eat, what we wear, all our opinions and beliefs. Go in, enjoy your stay, but never go out. If you go out, you're a weirdo, you're an outsider. And that's something I really don't like here, because I always felt kind of squished into that box of the known. And I felt like I couldn't expand and grow and develop. But when I moved to the city, that box was removed, and suddenly everything was new, and I started thinking freely and clearly, and I got so many new ideas, and so many crazy ideas about my life and what I want to do in life. And that's something that I would never think about on the island, because I always feel like everyone will judge you if you do something crazy or different. But in the big cities, people are more open-minded, I would say. Yeah, so always try to focus on the good things instead of bad things. And believe me, there are a lot of good things. Even the smaller things. It doesn't matter, just that it's something good. And it doesn't have to be for this situation, in general in life. Always try to focus on the good things, because if you only focus on the bad things, then you're putting yourself in lower vibrational state, and then you find more bad things, and then you will feel terrible and bad, and you will be sad. But if you try to find something good, even the smallest thing, you will be grateful for it, and then you will be able to find more good things and more good things and more good things, and then your vibrational state will go up, and you will feel actually so much better. Believe me, it works. So that's it for today's video, and I hope that you found some valuable information if you struggle with the city life, and I hope that now you will be able to make it a little bit better for yourself. So yeah, move your body, talk to someone, bring some plants into your apartment, and focus on the good things. And if you are not struggling with the city life, maybe you have someone, a friend or a family member who does, and now you will be able to understand them better and understand how they feel, and you can talk to them, or you don't have to talk, just listen to them. That will really help them. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye. I love them. They're so cute and alive and green. Yeah.